Lems just released the updated take on their popular minimalist Boulder Boot with the Boulder Boot Grip, keeping that classic look and feel everyone loves, but finally giving the boot the traction needed to take it on technical hikes. Last year they released the Boulder Boot Summit with the same goal in mind, giving the fans a Boulder boot you can actually hike with. Just looking at the two shoes, you could easily mistake one for the other. But after wearing both on various hikes, as well as casually, we think that you'll be surprised how different we now find them. Those differences are what we want to highlight today as Lems' brand new Boulder Boot Grip and the Lems Boulder Boot Summit go toe-to-toe. What's up everybody and welcome to the Sons of Seaver YouTube channel where there's no such thing as bad weather, only bad gear. My name's Eric and today we are talking about the brand new Lems Boulder Boot Grip and we're pitting it toe-to-toe against its brother, the Boulder Boot Summit. So we're super excited to talk about these two boots to you. It's something that's been asked for quite a bit, a comparison between the two, and we know that the holidays are coming up. Lems always has sales around Thanksgiving and around Christmas, so hopefully after we compare the two boots for you guys, you'll be able to make your decision on which one you'd like to pick up. So for this toe-to-toe video, Chris and I are going to ping-pong back and forth talking about various aspects of the shoes. And we're going to give you as many shots as we can so that you can see the differences as well as hear our first-hand experience on what makes them different shoes. As always, there are timestamps down in the description of the video, so if you want to go and skip around, then go and look there and you can do that. We also have all of our affiliate links in the description of this video, and Lems is one of those affiliates. So if you do decide that you're going to go buy one of these, we really appreciate it if you use those links. It helps out the channel at no extra cost to you. It puts more gear into our hands and more reviews out for you. So I'm going to send it over to Chris so that he can start off.
So the first thing that I'm going to talk about is the traction pattern on each of these shoes. They are very different. In order to test this, we managed to get these out on a pretty good high altitude hike where about 2/3 into the hike, we came across some snow and ice. Caveat to that, it was very shallow snow and a lot of really packed down ice. No boot is going to handle ice well, but on the way up, they handled almost identically. I would say the advantage definitely went to the Summit. I was wearing the Summit and I experienced a bit less slipping than Eric did in the Grip. On the way down is where the big difference came in. The Summit handles stopping your momentum on those slippery surfaces just a little bit better than the Grip does. We still need to take the Grip out into some deeper snow to see how it handles, but I think they're both gonna do well in deep snow where there's lots of surface area for all of those little grooves to grab onto. I think the Summit does a little bit better because those chevrons are so big and they are so deep. They've got lots of space in between them, so they allow the snow and the other materials to get up in between those grooves and really grip on. With that being said, these both handle other terrains really, really well. Whether it is slippery rock faces or gravel or mud, whatever you're coming across, or just, normal dry ground that you're walking on, these two are gonna handle pretty much the same on the way up and on the way down. It's with the ice and the snow where there is a bit of a marked difference. Now, I think that the traction patterns also carry some weight behind them as far as the actual weights and flexibilities of these boots go. The Summit is flexible, but it's not as flexible as the Grip. The Summit is also very light, especially compared to some of your traditional hiking shoes from other companies, but the Grip is lighter. So while it's sacrificing some in the way of like hardcore hikeability in snow and ice, it is gaining a lot in weight and flexibility. That's going to be the biggest difference here.
So first, I'm going to talk about the different look of the boot, especially when it comes to the sewing construction around the toe, because that's basically the biggest difference between the two. As I said in the opening, at first glance, they might be indistinguishable, but this will be the thing that tips you off as to which one you're actually looking at. So if you look at the Boulder Boot Grip here, this is exactly how the Boulder Boot, the original, and the Boulder Boot Waterproof that came out was constructed with the toe. You can see that there's two pieces. So you've got this one here and this top piece that have been sewn together, and it kind of forms, I call them lips right there. So you've got this one piece where they've been sewn together that kind of juts out, and that is the exact style, like I said, of the original Boulder Boot and the Boulder Boot Waterproof. There was a bit of a departure on that when the Boulder Boot Summit came out. So if you look at it there, you still have the two pieces, one there, but now it's where one has been sewn on top of the other, and it gives it a kind of a cleaner and more streamlined look, in my opinion. So the toe is a big giveaway as to which boot you're looking at, but the midsoles are a little bit different too, and that's going to be another clue as to which one you have. The Boulder Boot Grip has a uniform midsole across the whole bottom there, and the Boulder Summit has this two-tone pattern, at least the brown one does, where you've got the rubber, and then you can see the EVA foam that they've got going on, another piece of rubber on the heel. That's exclusive to the brown leather one. I know on the Nitro it's one color across, and on the Cole as well. But with these two, where you're looking at both of the brown leather boots, besides a little bit of coloration difference as well, the big thing is going to be those toes and the midsoles.
Next comparison that we're going to make between these two boots is the lacing systems. Now, they have the exact same amount of articulation points for the laces between these two boots. The only difference is at the top, the last two on the Summit are going to be just traditional pass-through eyelets, and up on the grip, you're going to have hook eyelets. Personally, I don't love hook eyelets, and if you watched our dedicated review of this boot that came out yesterday, then you'll know my opinion. That was one of my dislikes of the boot. Now, one saving grace that I'll give for this, one of the reasons I hate hook eyelets is because they're usually too loose when you go to put the lace in them. If you're not holding active tension on the lace, then it falls out and you lose your place. You got to go back and hook it around again. The laces kind of like snap in nice and snug into these eyelets. They got like the perfect amount of tension on them so that you can let go of the lace after you've snapped it in and it's not going to fall out. Now, the reason why I don't like this is because I like to set all of my boots up, including the Boulder Summit, to be slip-on and off, but still functional. That's one thing that I've been able to do with every pair of Barefoot boots that I've worked with so far. This one was a little bit more challenging. It took me a couple of tries, and I actually did several hikes where I undid them and redid them and undid them and redid them until I got them where I wanted, but now I can slip them on and off. So that's the biggest difference between those lacing systems, and personally, I'm not a huge fan of the ones on the Boulder Grip.
The next thing that I'm going to talk about with these two boots is their stack heights. So the Boulder Boot Grip comes in at 16.5 millimeters, and that's including the insole. And the Boulder Boot Summit comes in at 20.5 millimeters, including the insole. Now that is an increase on both of those shoes from the original Boulder Boot, which came in at 13.5 millimeters. And I think that proves that Lems was trying to market these more towards hikers. It's not just a casual boot. This is something that you can take on difficult hikes and that you can take backpacking. If you've seen our review for the Zero Ridgeway, and I'll leave a card up here if you want to go and watch that, then you'll hear me give my spiel about how I don't think that a lot of barefoot hiking boots have enough stack height. I just think for it to be a hiking boot, it needs to give you the protection that your feet need if you're hiking long distances and over really rocky and tough terrain. And for me, the Boulder Boot Grip kind of sits in this Goldilocks zone where the Ridgeway is too thin, the grip at its 16.5 millimeters is just about right, and the Summit at 20.5 is maybe just a little bit too much. So there is a marked difference there in the flexibility of the two shoes. If you look at the Summit here, it's definitely a little bit more effort. It's stiff to get it to bend like that, and then you take the grip and it just folds right in half. Now, some of that has to do with the traction pattern that's on each of them as well, but that stack height definitely plays a part in that, and because of the lower stack height on the grip, we find it to be more barefoot feeling and a little bit more flexible than the Summit is. I did want to take a minute here just to mention some of the affiliates that we have going on with this page right now, and obviously the first big one is Lems. We absolutely love Lems and their products. Besides these awesome boots that they have dress shoes, they've got other hiking shoes, they've got super casual shoes, everything that you could need in your closet, and they're all minimal shoes compared to what's out there on the market. They've got wide toe boxes, they have generally pretty low stack heights, and we think that they look amazing as well. So definitely go and check out Lems. The second would pair very, very well with a pair of wide toe box shoes, and that is toe socks. So these ones that I've got on right now are from a company called Earth Runners. I've actually really enjoyed these. We've got a video, I'll put the card up here so that you can go see it. They compare 7 different brands of toe socks. Creepers, which is another one of our affiliates that you can find down in the description, was the winner of that batch. And we have another video that's going to be coming out pretty soon talking about another batch of 6 or 7 toe sock companies. And so far, I think that my Earth Runners are kind of in the front running for that one. I've really enjoyed these ones ever since we've gotten them. So go and check out Earth Runners. And the last one that we want to mention is another new one for us. It's called Triplo Gear. It is an athleisure company. And if you go check out our dedicated review to the Boulder Grip boot, then you'll see us wearing a couple of hoodies that come from them. We really like the fit, we really like the feel of those things, and they definitely feel quality as well. So go and check out Triplo. Again, we have a ton of different companies. Check out all of those companies down in the description where you can find our affiliate links.
This next point I'm going to make is about the designation of zero drop. Lems has an interesting history, and this takes some backstory when it comes to the drop heights in their shoes, so hang on for a second. Just to be clear, these are both designated as zero drop shoes on Lems' website. Lems has dabbled in the past in 4mm drops, but never anything more dramatic than that. And the reason we bring this up is because when the Outlander boot and the Summit first came out, they both ping-ponged back and forth between, on the website, having a designation of zero drop and then a 2mm drop. And the reason why, I actually eventually went to our rep and asked her, and she said that internally there was a conversation going on about the compression of the midsole material at the forefoot. Over time, with enough use, there's going to be compression in just about any shoe that has an insole or a midsole of some kind. And that was causing, at the most, a 2mm drop from the heel to the toe. Now, the thing about this is that these shoes do not come to you with a 2mm drop. They may develop one over time. Eric and I both have experience with shoes from Lems that have that 4mm drop designation. I don't notice it. Eric does notice it. Just to let you know what the industry standard is more like, it's 10+ millimeters of heel to toe drop in things like Nikes and Reeboks and other popular shoe brands. So a 2mm drop is going to be completely unnoticeable. It is negligible. Go and look at a ruler if you don't believe me. If you can't think in your brain what a millimeter looks like, go and find 2 of them. You'll realize that it's tiny. It's not enough to shift your posture and put you in anterior pelvic tilt or anything like that. So we wanted to bring this up just so if they ever decide to throw the 2mm drop thing up there again, that's them being brutally honest with themselves, and it's not going to affect anything in what you feel with any of their offerings. But just to reiterate one last time, these are both designated as zero drop on the Lems website.
The last difference that I'll talk about here before I give you my verdict is a very tiny one, and that is just the colorways between the 2 shoes. So currently, for the Boulder Boot Grip, all you have is the brown leather, and with the Summit, with their new edition of the Summit Cole, you've got the brown leather, you've got a canvas gray nitro, and then the Cole is a black leather. So just a few more options for now. I'm guessing that in maybe a year or so, there'll be some more colorways to go with the grip. That's just my best guess for the way that Lems works and the way that the Summit worked with its launch and everything.
The next thing I want to talk about is the width of the toe boxes. Obviously, if you're looking into barefoot boots, you are probably sick of the traditional style boots pinching your toes together, which they do without mercy. Now, this is another difference that's going to come down to the website and what it says about each boot in the specs. But Lems has 3 different widths that they work with in their shoes. The first one is the medium width, the next one is the wide width, and the last one is the widest width. The Boulder Grip is listed to be in the wide category, while the Boulder Summit is currently spec'd to be in the widest category. Eric and I both have very extensive experience with the Primal Zen and the Primal 2, which both come in the widest category. And I'll tell you right now, there is no way that the Boulder Summit is in that widest category. I don't know if this is a website oversight issue. I'll probably ask our rep about it and see what she has to say, but we did a very simple scientific test here where we took both boots and wore them at the same time and walked around in them for a little bit, and other than the stack height difference, the insides of these shoes feel exactly the same. Now, the last thing that I'll leave you with when it comes to the widths is they're still both plenty wide. We seem to have some very wide-footed people in our comment sections on our videos here, because we are constantly hearing from people that, no, I bought this shoe, it wasn't wide enough for my feet. I have really wide feet, I always have. That's why I got into barefoot shoes, because I finally got sick of my toes being squished together all the time, and these are just fine. I can wear toe separators in these things and not have excessive rubbing on the outsides of my toes. So are either of them in the widest category? I don't think so, but they're both wide enough.
Usually in these toe-to-toe videos, we give you some sort of conclusion as to which one we like better. So that's going to be something that is extremely difficult for the two of us to do. We love both of these boots a lot. We think that both of them perform on the trail admirably and very similarly. We think that casually both of them fit in really well, and even dressed up just a little bit, they both work really well. So it's kind of a toss-up, to be honest. If you are looking for the more rugged hiker of the two, then I would say go with the Summit. It's got that extra stack height, and I think that you're going to enjoy that on long and difficult trails. If you're looking for something that has more of a barefoot feel to it, that's a little more flexible and a little more grounded, then I would go with the Grip. Now for me, if I just absolutely had to choose one over the other, I probably would go with the Boulder Boot Grip, and that's just because I like the more barefoot feel to it. And that's really it. As far as the looks go, as far as the performance go, in my mind, they are very, very similar, but I do like that this one feels just a little bit more barefoot, and I'm still going to take it on long hikes. I'm still going to take it backpacking and things like that, because I do think that it performs on the trail really well, but I think that I'm probably going to be wearing it casually more often than when I get to go hiking, and I think that's a big reason why I gravitate towards this one. When I asked Chris about it, he said that he would pick the Summit over the Grip. So in his opinion, that one serves his purpose a little bit better. Before sending it over to Chris, one more thing, there is a $5 difference. So the Boulder Boot Grip is $180, the Summit is $185. Again, pretty negligible. And I'll mention this one more time. I know that Lems always has sales around Thanksgiving and around Christmas time. So if you're looking to pick up either of these boots, go to the link down in the description when those sales hit and go and check out what those prices are. It's usually around like 20% off or something like that. All right, now I'll send it back over to Chris so that he can close out the video.
Folks, we hope you liked this video. It was a highly requested one. We had fun making it. I just want to reiterate, both of these boots are fantastic. We would recommend both of them, but hopefully you gleaned from this video that there are some differences between them that may work better in whatever niche you're looking to fill with your barefoot boot purchase. As always, we appreciate it if you'd go down to the links in the description and check out all of the fantastic outdoor-minded companies that we like to work with. If you want more content from us, make sure to go and check out our Instagram, where we're posting most often about the newest products that we're currently working with. You can also follow us on Strava if you want to get the same kind of content. That's where we are not only posting about the stuff that we're using, but we're also tracking the things that we're using them for, whether it's running, trail running, hiking, paddleboarding. All of those things are being tracked on Strava, and we're mentioning what gear we're using during those activities. We're glad you're here. We appreciate your view, and as always, we will catch you in the mountains.